Okay, today's video, it's going to be one clip, no cuts, no edits. If I mess up talking, oh well. I've had a lot of people ask me, what kind of fishing line do I use? What brands do I use? What do I like for what bait? Technique, reel, you name it. So I guess the way to start this will be to just kind of go with the lines in the order that they're in the box. So right here, obviously, is the braid. It is the Seagar Smackdown Tournament braid in 65-pound test. You'll see it says sleek, ultra strong, 8-strand braid. I like this braid, but I wish I had a pack of the original Power Pro, but the Power Pro is my favorite braid to use. I like it better than Seagar Smackdown just because, honestly, I've caught more fish on it. I have more confidence with the Power Pro with baits like a frog and a Texas rig or a punch rig, but I will use Smackdown. Smackdown is good, but like I said, my favorite is Power Pro. And while we're on that topic, the majority of the time, well, really the only time that I use braid is for frog fishing heavy cover, Texas rigs, flipping and pitching in heavy cover, punching in pads and stuff like that. Really heavy cover. Okay, so anyway, on to monofilament. And this right here is the 8-pound test Trilene XL smooth casting. Whenever I use monofilament, I will actually use 10 or 12-pound test if I want to keep the bait higher in the water column, or if I want to have more stretch to my line. You know, people refer to monofilament as a rubber band because of it has a lot of stretch. And by the way, you like how I put tape on the back? So anyway, I will use, like I said, 8, 10, 12-pound test. 8-pound usually goes on my spinning. Now, if you guys ever see me use like 14-pound mono or copolymer, I will use that on baits like a lipless crankbait during certain times of the year, square bills, and even deep diving crankbaits. I mean, sometimes I prefer that stretch. Sometimes I want that stretch. And that is also dependent on what rod I'm using, what action, what power, stuff like that. But other than the braid and the monofilament, you guys know that I do fish fluorocarbon for the majority of my baits. You know, like I'll crankbait with fluorocarbon a lot, but once in a while I do want monofilament. So anyway, check the camera here because the screen turned off. Okay, it's at like, I think it should be at like 2 minutes, 48 seconds. Anyway, Sunline Super in the 20-pound test. I just talked about this line in a video the other day. This Sunline, I feel, is stronger than the Sniper and the Assassin. Yes, in my opinion. The 20-pound Sunline Super it's going to be a little bit bigger of a diameter than the Sniper and the Assassin is, but I do like it. I really like to use the Super 8-pound test for tubes and jerkbaits, even though in the other video I did say that I use the 8-pound Sniper for tubes and jerkbaits. I do like the Super. I think that's what I said in the other video. Anyway, kind of going all over the place here. And this is another Sunline Assassin 20-pound test. 20-pound test. You guys will notice I fish a lot of my Texas rigs on 20-pound test, and I will flip and pitch with 20-pound fluorocarbon a lot of the time, unless I'm in that really heavy vegetation. Okay, Sunline Assassin 15-pound test. This is what I'll put on my bait casters for spinner baits, chatterbaits, tubes, even a jerkbait once in a while. I feel like 15-pound fluorocarbon is great for a moving bait. You know, moving bait, search bait, crankbaiting, stuff like that. You can use, you know, like deep diving crankbaits with 15-pound test. It won't go quite as deep as like an 8 or a 10 would, but it will still work. Basically, what I'm trying to tell you is that the 15-pound Sunline Assassin is very versatile and it's good for a range of baits. You can fish like a Texas rig or other stuff, swim jig, a whole bunch of stuff on that. But again, like anything else, the line you use, the rod power action, and the reel, depending on your personal preference, also depends on your location, where you're fishing, what you're doing. You guys know that. And of course, the 8-pound test. This is the other fluorocarbon that I will use for like finesse fishing, once in a while ice fishing, jerk baits, tubes on spinning, stuff like that. Now, ice fishing, I will use this once in a great while, but I do like 4 or 6 pound tests when I'm ice fishing. You guys know in the majority of my ice fishing videos, I do use 6-pound fluorocarbon with a waxworm and a jig head. Once in a while, I'll use like a jig and wrap or a Swedish pimple, stuff like that, while I'm ice fishing. But I mean, most of the time I use live bait. That's how I always fished as a kid growing up when I went ice fishing, was the live bait. So that's basically why I do that. Now, I know that the video is all over the place, so we're going to check the camera again. Where are we at here? We're at 5:56. So if you want a more to the point description, braid and heavy cover, like 50 or 65 pound test, or if it's really, really, really heavy, like crazy, and I want something insane, I would try 80-pound test. I've never done it. I know some of you guys down in Florida have tried 80-pound test. If you guys have fished with 80-pound test, like 80-pound braid, let me know in the comments. 65 pound is the heaviest braid I'll go. I like to fish my frogs on a heavy with 65-pound test, so let me know. And like I said, monofilament for crankbaits, or once in a great while, if I don't have money for any other line and I just have monofilament, it'll work. You know, I used to fish a lot of Senkos, beetle spins, stuff like that on monofilament. You know, your grandparents that use Stren, Trilene, you can't go wrong with it. Sunline 20-pound test, Texas rigs, flipping and pitching, a whole bunch of stuff. Once in a while, a big swim bait, like I said. 15, or nope, that's not 15, that's 20-pound test. Same, basically the same thing with what I'm doing in my videos. Just, you know, another thing too that I will do is if I want a bait to be higher in the water, I will also use a heavier line. And if I want the bait to go deeper, I will use like a lighter line. Like when I'm using 8-pound test on that Vision 110 Plus one, I'm letting that suspending jerk bait get to that depth, because that Vision 110 Plus one, if I can get one out of my bag, okay, that Vision 110 Plus one, you guys see me use it all the time. Okay, it almost hops in the water when you work that bait. It has a hunting action. You know, you jerk it, suspend it. That's why I like that bait, okay? And then another thing that you'll notice about the bait is the bill on the bait also determines the depth, okay? So if you have like a small, that's a mess, bill like that, that's going to be like a 3 or a 5 foot, or 3 to 5 foot, excuse me. That'll be something like a 6 to 10, 6 to whatever. And like I also said, with hard baits, the deeper I want the bait to go, the lighter the line I will use. But anyway, that's beside the point. And then, yep, the 15-pound test, I told you I'll use that for spinner baits, shadow baits, moving baits. I already said that. And there's the other 8-pound test. Now, there are some other brands of line that I don't have here, like Seagar Invisex, Seagar Abrazex, P-Line Tactical, P-Line Copolymer, Suffix Pro Mix, Suffix Siege. What is that one brand of fluorocarbon? Berkeley Vanish, Vicious Fluorocarbon, Sunline Monofilament. There's a bunch of brands of monofilament, fluorocarbon, and even braid that I've tried and that I've fished. But do me a favor, if you're still watching this video, let me know in the comment section below. What is your favorite kind of line and why? I do expect a lot of you guys to say fluorocarbon, and the other ones that didn't say fluorocarbon to say braid, but you know, you never know. You guys have been interacting in the comments a lot lately. You guys know I'll respond to you. And I like bringing up the topic because, you know, you guys know what I fish. You guys have seen what I fished over the past 2 years. And, you know, hearing from you guys, especially about like what line or what bait or what reel, it's kind of cool because when I can like interact with you guys, like, oh yeah, I like this, and you're like, hey, I like this. It's pretty cool. But anyway, enough of the ranting. Pretty sure that's 10 minutes next time.